Funday live stream on Sunday. Yes, I only booked the show maybe 23 or 4 minutes ago. So there's no one here waiting, and that's all right. And also, I have been rather anemic, shall we say, or intermittent with my shows, with my content, but we are striving here at Potsquatch Growers to continue pumping up the show and keeping things coming out for everybody at home. So, well, until people show up, we're just going to start the show and say, things are going really good here, sitting here in Canada, Vancouver, BC. It's a beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day outside, and yes, I'm deciding to be here in a show with you instead. And we're bringing back the Sunday show, it seems, because simply put, I take Sundays and Mondays off. So, there's some people here now. What's up, Alien Garden Genetics? My friend, good to see you. Don't worry, you don't have to consume the beer. I'll do it for you instead. Welcome to the show. And, it's the eve of the big federal election here in Canada. We're not going all political here. We might chat a bit about it if anyone wants my opinion on things in Canada later in the show. But, it's a fun day. It's a fun day. It's gorgeous outside. I got the day off there. I'm looking at right now. I'm gazing above the camera, looking down at the tent. I got it a bit open so she can hear the show and participate. She's buttoned up real good. And she's doing great. Maybe I'll let you take a peek at it today in the show. But the update video is coming out tomorrow on Election Day here in Canada. And, my God, she is, this is a pretty, if I say so myself, I mean, tomorrow is going to be 3 weeks of flower. And she's looking pretty epic, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Because it's going to be like 9 to 10 weeks. And if this goes the way I think it's going to go, it's going to be a pretty insane looking plant in this tent, I'll tell you. But things are good here, there at Potsquatch Growers. Still working away at the day job, doing that, fixing cars, fixing buildings, helping people. And that's going well. And, been working on the notes there for doing the next educational video that we've been talking about. What's up, Dan Stutzky? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the show that we're going to be releasing before the end of the month there. And it's coming together. It's coming together, I'm kind of excited about getting back into that kind of educational content and doing videos. Back in the day, for example, yes, I agree, Dan Stutzky, rest in peace, big times. Someone, who was it? I want to say it was like Dragon something, commented and let me know. Oh, yeah, don't worry, Alien Garden Genetics. You're going to get a sneak peek there. The update will come out tomorrow. But rest in peace, big times, man. And I hope you are at one with the Force now. And just loving, rocking the universe. And my prayers and condolences go out to all the family and loved ones. And those of us still here will keep it loud and proud and having good times. But anyway, what was I saying? Educational videos. I'm excited about the educational videos coming back, and the one coming up is going to be fun, talking about the effect of different kind of, climate areas of the world in terms of how the genetic genome of cannabis is going to be responding and things to be mindful of, and I think that's an important one to talk about too, because like a lot of people will look at a breeder's website and, what's up, Daddy-O Grows, welcome to the show, and they'll go, oh, well, this is what this plant is supposed to look like. Then they'll get the genetic and they'll start growing the genetic, especially outdoors, but it'll be affected too in terms of interior grows to a point. Unless you've got like a completely hermetically sealed off, completely synthetic environment where you're actually fully playing God and emulating anything and everything that happens in that room. And to be fair, that's my favorite way to play with cannabis inside. But, it costs money and toys to do that properly. But it'll be a fun video. But as we used to do on the channel many moons ago, if there's ever like a video, right, like Potsquatch, I don't know much about this or I don't know much about that. Well, often I might have a video on it already. But you can request me to make a video, in my humble 2 cents, on anything you'd like to know about. Or even if I made a previous video and you want me to make a new video talking about the old video, same topic, just sort of an updated version, we can do that too. That is 100% allowed here at Potsquatch Growers, and I'm happy to do it. What's up, Red's Homestead? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the show. I hope you're doing well, buddy. And I hope the homestead is homesteading well. You should do one on hash making. I don't disagree. We've made videos like that in the past. They have been flagged and gotten me a strike on YouTube. And it's weird because there's all these other videos on YouTube about making hash, and they don't seem to have any problems. But it's like the second I make a video about hash, my channel gets in trouble. And I think we might still have a strike right now. I don't know. I should check on that. Has it dissolved yet? How long ago did I get that strike? It might be gone by now, because I'm pretty sure they give you that strike for 3 months, if I'm remembering correctly. And I believe the strike that we got would have been more than 3 months ago. Yeah, definitely more than 3 months ago. It's when we made the sort of the seed bank, talking about 2 good seed banks to go to. And Red's Homestead, no, Dan Stutski's like, call it Zaza. Yeah, I learned that word. You know, one of my young coworkers, name's Nathaniel. Shout out to Nathaniel. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And he was talking about, man, should I get some Zaza? And I just look at him like, what the fuck you talking about, kid? What the fuck's Zaza, man? You want some pizza? You thinking about having a pizza night tonight? He's like, no, man, that means weed. What? I had never heard it called that before, you know, and it's like, you know, you're getting old when the younger people have these different turns of phrase to kind of, you know, reference certain things. And you're just like, man, what? You know, like, and then I'm like thinking about the slang words that, you know, my generation had, you know, chronic doja. Oh shit, now I'm blanking, like, you know, chronic, doja, smoke, pot, chiba, doja. There's other ones that I'm obviously, you know, not really remembering right now. But it's like, so for me, when these younger generations have their new words for things, I'm like, what are you talking about? Someone named Single Player says, you look like my dad. Oh, shit. I'm not great at emoticon reading, but I believe it means that your father has passed on with the skull face and the heartbreaking emoji. So if that is what you are communicating through hieroglyphics to me, I apologize. My heart goes out to you. And I'm sure your dad is right around you. He's looking down on you, and he's right there with you. And, you know, I'm a big believer in that. Don't believe in Christianity or religions, but I do believe in, like, you know, the universe. And like, the fact is, like, dude, I've seen way too many ghostly things to not believe that after we die, we move on to an energy level of some sort, and something's, you know, we're able to be conscious to a point and interact with the universe that's still here in the physical world. So I believe that he's there with you. And I'm sorry if it's hard for you if I look like your dad. Or if it's a good thing, he says, nah, brah, he's alive. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, good. Sweet. Awesome. So I just look like your dad. Then good. I don't understand the emoticons then. But if he was dead, my condolences to the hypothetical situation, which is not real. But you know, how old are you, Single Player? One, this is a show for adults. So really, let's do math here. I guess technically I could, in theory, be your dad. Where do you live? What part of the world are you in, man? I travel the world. I always made the joke to my last partner before things didn't work out. And I always make the joke, you know, like, man, one day they're 17. Yeah, I'm almost 37. So I definitely, you know, mathematically and physiologically, and the fact that I was a slut, I could be your dad. But if you think I look like your dad, then you probably are. You're just, you know, your dad. I'm just probably his cousin, you know, his distant cousin is like third or fourth cousin. So really, actually, my tangent didn't make any bloody sense. But anyway, regardless, that's funny. Much love back at you, Single Player. Love you too. But yeah, the joke was, it's like, you know, you never know, right? Like, I could have like an army of Potsquatches, you know, of all different races show up one day that are all my children. It'll be like a Starbuck moment. I'll just be like, my babies, come to Papa. Let's take over the world. Not actually, you know, just as a joke, right? You know. Yes, I know, Kent Rass. I am younger than a lot of the people that watch this show. A lot of people find out that I'm only 36 going on 37. And they're like, oh, man, I thought you were way older. And I was like, oh, man, I'm not sure how to take that. But if it, you know, in reality, like, since my early 20s, Uncle Potsquatch was getting auditions to play dads in their mid to late 30s, early 40s. You know, I was able at the age of 13 to walk into a store without ID and buy cigarettes at the variety store across the street from my high school. I was the only one who could do that. I could go to bars without an ID at 13 and just walk in and start drinking. It was a good time. But so I'm used to people thinking I'm older than I am, you know. As you start to get older, but you're not older, you're aging, but you're like older than you were, right? You know, you're starting to notice that you're like, wait, I'm not 20 anymore. And you're like, man, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. You know, young me was like, yeah, I look older, right? You're like, now you're like, man, I don't know how I feel about that. Hollywood seems to think I'm like super fucking old, you know? And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll just like freeze exactly at this point for the next 70 years. Hooli says, right, how can energy ever stop? Well, it's a scientific fucking law, you know, energy cannot be created or destroyed. We are electromagnetic beings. I don't know. That's just a, you know, basic assumption, really. But it would make sense if we went on to another energy level. Um, Hell yeah, Hooli. Kent Rass says, I turn 68 in a couple months. Hey, man, happy almost 68th birthday. And, you know, then the year after that, you get the best year. That's 69. You know, you got to have fun with that one. Enjoy that whole year, man. Enjoy that whole year. Todd Wilson says, hey, Potsquatch from Ontario. Hey, man, much love back to Ontario, Todd Wilson. I was born in Ontario, born in Burlington, grew up in London in the Old South neighborhood of London, Ontario. Moved out here quite young, though, so I've lived out west a lot longer than I ever lived in Ontario. And, you know, I guess I identify as a West Coast BC person, you know. I'm a BC grower, BC wheat titties. You know, that's where I like it. Red's Homestead says, I'll be 38 in July. Hell yeah. So then you were born 87. I'm born 88. I'm also born in July. I'm July 5th. What's your birthday? But yeah, I've been getting really excited about this plant. I mean, in the video tomorrow, we're actually going to do some hands-on training. Well, not really training, probably. Well, we might do a little snapping here or there, or as I like to call it, knuckling. Some people call it super cropping. I prefer knuckling. That's what I've called it since sort of, you know, the early days. And this is where we're taking a branch, we snap in the branch, okay, cracking it to actually get like a knuckle growing in that when it heals. And obviously it's going to raise up a bit, it's going to turn around, but it's like when you're in a tent or you're in an indoor environment with limited space, and then your stretch is happening. So your buds are getting closer to your light, and you got to snap that motherfucker to keep it away from the light so it doesn't get hurt, right? You know what I'm saying? So I call that knuckling. That's what I prefer to call it. So we might do a bit of knuckling tomorrow in the video. But a big part is like, she's so bushy. So we're definitely going to go through. I'm going to lollipop a bit. I normally teach or advocate for lollipopping the bottom 30% of the plant, okay? The bottom 30% of the plant. I'm thinking it's going to be more like 10 or 15%. We're just going to clear out that initial bottom. Then we'll go through, do a little bit of defoliation. You know, the one thing I don't like, I've noticed about using iPhones as opposed to the Androids, is like it does do a sort of a hyperlapse type of way of shooting shit. But where like the Android's way was like you saw everything really quick, it just feels different or weird the way an iPhone shoots it. But maybe I'll fuck around and I'll shoot one of those and see if I can incorporate it. For those of you who watched the channel for a number of years, you know, we used to do it there, and I would make sounds or, you know, music in the background or literal sound effects to go along with it. It was a good time. Kent Rass says, how are the girls? Well, we got the one plant going, and basically I've got the better part of an entire 2x4 tent filled. The stretch is going well. The top crescent buds, as it were, are a few inches away from the light. She's filling out. She's getting bushy. It's definitely a 1970s porno bush in there, man. It is a bushy girl. We got bud sites everywhere. At 3 weeks, which is tomorrow, like they're already starting to come together. Like this is going to be giant donkey dicks, man. This plant is going to have the donkey donks everywhere. Like when this plant finishes, by the end of this tent, it's just going to look stupid. It's going to be like, people are going to look at this thing and they're going to go, Jesus, Potsquatch. You're going to be like, I only had the one plant, one bucket to make it big, you know? But it's going to be good. Like, you know, we're definitely going to get well over a pound on this plant, man. It's looking insane. Yes, we will give you a sneak peek of the plant, but we won't get too close and intimate with it today because, again, we're going to do the update video for everyone tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow for the update video. For those of you who may or may not be new here, like, subscribe, tell your friends and all that shit. You know, I always forget to kind of do that, you know, I've always felt weird about self-promoting, you know. Check out the store if you want, potsquatchsales.com, hats, t-shirts, grinders, papers, seeds, all that shit, you know. Check all that out. It's a good time. Todd Wilson, how did you do in the last plant in the 2x4? Oh, dude, we got about 1 pound, 3 ounces of tops, another half to 3/4 of a pound of smalls. We did pretty damn good. It worked out. My only greatest disappointment to running that genetic was that it was kind of satty. Like I registered it, the way it smoked, the way it smelled, the way it tasted is very satty. So like I'm still smoking it, but it's like it's not really my happy place, which my preferred happy place is Kush's indica derived varieties. So I went and bought weed. It's like I'm still smoking it here or there, but it's like, and then for 420, I was like, man, I need to get something like I really like to smoke. So I went and picked up some Master Kush Ultra. And, dear Canadian friend of mine, the husband of the Quiet Witch, who has passed away, God rest you. She's probably watching the show somewhere floating on I won't say a cloud, but she definitely probably somewhere in the universe watching it and just sort of tuning in. So she passed away, and so he's still working on that and working through his stuff on that one. And, and he reached out and he's like, man, I want to smoke some dank, like back in the day, dank, some proper cushy shit. That's what I need. And I was like, bro, I'll go find us some cushy dank, and I'll get some sent out to you. So I sent him out some Master Kush Ultra, and I was like, well, I'll buy some for me too. I need some for 420 anyway. And so that's what I've been smoking on is this beautiful Master Kush Ultra, and it smells exactly the way it should. It smells exactly super cushy and dank as fuck, and I have to make this joke to Gazzers, and I'm like, it smells like it's weed's supposed to. And he's like, oh, well, you can't say that, Josh. All marijuana is beautiful. Gazzers doesn't talk like that, by the way. He's from New Zealand. But, it's like, yeah, I know. And I know I'm particular, and, like, there's a very certain, like, exact part of the genome of weed that I prefer to smoke. And if it's cushy, if it's indica, typically that's what I want. There are exceptions to the rule and occasional strains or things that I do love too, but like, I want what I want, Huli says, I made a wicked Master Kush. I'm done with this next F4, I think. Hell yeah. Dude. I mean, I'd be curious to grow some of it out. I'd love to see if your Master Kush is something that I register as Kush. I would trade you beans for that. But I will say, though, only do it, though, if I can be honest. Because I like being honest with everybody about what I think about things. So, like, if I don't find it cushy, I'm going to have to be honest about that. But, I don't know. I'm down to do a trade. I mean, like, for example, the last weed I grew was great weed. People who like sat things loved it. The people I shared it with, and I was like, hey, try this out. You always told me you like more satty things or things that hit this way. And so they all loved it, right? But like for me, I just love that dark, dirty, gross, dank, smelling, stanky Kush with a weird, super sticky, dense buds. And it's just, you smoke half a joint in your house and people come in and you're like, fuck, man. And you're like, yeah, fuck, man, it's right. You know what I'm saying? It's that good weed, at least for me, right? So that's why I had to go get some MKUYT. Okay, there's people talking. I should read messages and say hello to people. What's up, Anthony Cordero? Good to see you. What's up, Tom B? Good to see you. What's up, Eugene Dolan, man? Good to see you, man. Joe Burns. Hello, Mr. Potsquatch. Hope your Easter 420 was good. It was good, Joe Burns. It was good. I hope yours was good too, buddy. Yeah, no, Tom Bean, like where we do sell beans here at Potsquatch Growers. If you have something I find interesting, and let's be fair, most things, even if I don't like them for my own personal taste, does not mean I would not like to add it to my genetic vault and my collection of marijuana weed titty genetics. So I'm usually often down to trade. Earth Creeper says Tuna Kush is supposed to be a Hindu Kush pheno. Honestly, I don't know if I remember off the top of my head the origin stories of Tuna Kush. I've met some true Tuna Kushes over the years, and I will say that I myself really like Tuna Kush. It is weird. It is dank. I get why we associated the word tuna with it, because it's almost kind of fishy with that Kush. And it's like, for me though, like it hit all the right notes that were weird, but like good weird, pleasant weird, like some people hate the smell of cheese, not cheese the food, but cheese the weed strain. And I love a weird cheese, even though it's fairly satty, but like a true cheese, a true dank cheese cannabis strain with the nose and the taste. I mean, I love it. I just love it. It's just weird, gross, and wonderful. But knowing Hindu Kush variants and the origins of true Hindu Kushes and seeing a lot of different versions of it over the years and having it be one of my true loves of cannabis, I could totally see Tuna Kush being some work that would have come out of that genetic line, of that genetic world of different Hindu Kushes that exist. So that would make sense to my brain. What's up, Outlaws Nation? CS, good to see you. All right, one second here. Did I miss anything? No. I hope you're doing well, Outlaws. Good to see you. Todd Wilson says, just chop some blue cheese. Dude, I love blue cheese. If it's a proper blue cheese with that blueberry and that cheese both being represented in terms of the nose on that plant, bro, that's my happy place too. It's funky, it's weird, it's sweet, it's earthy. Sometimes there's a little spice. I dig it, man. Huli says, mine is Neville's Hindu crossed with a Wicked Hydra I've had for a minute. Aw, perfect. It's an Alien Master Kush. It's fucking incredible. I have some F3 for you. Hell yeah. Dude, I'd be super down, Huli. That sounds sexy as fuck. And I'm always down to try out anything in the Kush varieties. Tom B says, Pakistani Hunza Valley 7C, picked up by Kevin Jodry in 2023. Tom B, I mean, again, I can't speak to the historical realities on that one. I mean, off the top of my head, I just don't have it. I mean, I wish Gazzers was here. Gazzers is someone, especially since he's been kind of locked down for the last year, and so is Mel, his wife, because the Popo rolled on him. They basically had like 4 or 5, maybe 6. Nah, knowing Gazzers, probably like 8 plants. I'm going to say 8 plants in flower. And they weren't big plants. Like, they weren't like this giant behemoth bitch that I've got in this tent right now. They were just normal little weed plants. Looked gorgeous, but, like, not huge. Like, nothing dangerous, nothing to be threatened by as the police, you know. But they did have, like, 120, 140 or something like that babies, like little sprouts. But we're talking, like, these things had been alive for, like, a week or two. Like, they were just tiny little things. Tiny little things. And they then counted those as like full-blown plants. So they threw the book at them hard, put them under house arrest. They faced like up to 15 years or 20 years or 10 years. I can't remember the exact number of prison. Luckily, they didn't get that. They got put on home arrest. They've been on home arrest for an entire year now on lockdown, unable to work, unable to fucking really leave without permission from the parole officer. And it's not been fun for them. But it is my joy to say that clock is finished in 2 or 3 days. They get freedom fucking back in 2 or 3 days, everybody. I'm trying to get them on to do a show, even if it's just for a little bit, of their first freedom, finally walking free, taking the ankle monitors off and being able to leave their property and go back to some form of normalcy, you know. But my point of this is that Gazzers, my God. So in the year he's been on lockdown, like he's been researching histories, he's been researching lineages. He is friends with Kevin Jodry now. He's got a bunch of beans Kevin Jodry sent him. He is friends with all of these big names, and it's just like that's what he's done, and he's sort of developed these relationships. Shanti Bubba, Todd McCormick, all of these people, you know, and so he's immersed himself though in histories, the storages, the lineages, you know. Because a big part of our cannabis history and where things come from is actually an oral history, right? And everybody has a slightly different story of where something came from. So that's where there is no definitive true answer a lot of the time on origins of things. And that's where you got to kind of weave through a lot of shit. And, you know, honestly, 8 or 9 times out of 10, you just got to kind of decide whose story you believe and go with that. It is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. But that is kind of a function also, too, of like, being outlawed, being this black in the mind of the government industry, this industry that's bad and the criminals and this whole criminal element. And so, you know, you can't widely publish what you're doing. You can't widely easily talk about it, right? So a lot of this stuff becomes oral histories. And that's kind of how it goes, man. One second here, everybody. I'm just reading. Hell yeah, Tom B. That sounds sexy, buddy. I'm just reading, everyone. Huli says, Neville's Hindu crossed with a Hindu. It's wild. The novel's Hindu is permanent profile. It's wicked. Dude, Huli, that sounds sexy as fuck, bro. I would smoke that. I've never had the joy of getting to hang out with Kevin Jodry myself. What's up, Soul Price? Good to see you, buddy. All right, welcome to the show, buddy. Oh, sick, Tom. Hell yeah. But yeah, so Gazzers and Mel have freedom soon, my friends. Some of our fellow Potsquatches, the genetic we're growing right now is half some of Gazzer's work. So the K-Town Kush by Cheese, that was created by Gazzers. The Gazzer's the man. He's actually formally publicly talking about his genetic line now and his genetic work. And he is called Electric Puha Genetics. So simply put, man, you know, it's going to be good. So that their K-Town Kush by Cheese that the Gaz did before, you know, the Poe came and crushed everything and took all his shit and stole all of his equipment and killed everything. And then they locked him in a house for a year. It's just so stupid. He had some baby plants and like 8 plants in flower. This is the dumbest thing for me as a Canadian, anyway. With how things work in Canada, it's like, you know, like even when things were illegal, one, you should have a medical license, so none of what you're doing is illegal, and two, like even if you didn't have that, they'd slap you on the wrist and go, "Oh no, you grew a few joints. Here's a ticket," or like, "You bad boy or girl or Z or they, don't do that." That's all it would be in Canada. So it's like I've just been astonished at this whole story when that happened to them. This book that got thrown at them, and like, so I'm stoked. A couple more days and they're free. What's up, Marty McFly? How you doing, buddy? I'm going to try to get Gaz and Mel, though, on the show if I can, on their day of freedom, so we can all celebrate with them around the world and tune in and be like, yes, Mel and Gazzers are free. Electric Puha Genetics, grow on. I believe they're actually going to be selling the house where they live in the South Island, move back to the North Island, find a place to just kind of make their own. And Gazzers is going to fully embrace going back to weed nerdism, embracing his plant fucking ways. And I think that's his biggest plan going forward. Is I was talking to him about it the other day, and like where he's really at is like he wants to be doing breeding projects, he wants to be doing crosses, and he really wants to immerse himself back into both playing with old school genetics, playing with like works from these new old school super famous growers who created everything. And I'm really stoked. I mean, I've always loved watching Gaz as a grower and the things he comes up with and the things that he crosses. You know what I'm saying? Joe Byrne says, where do Mel and Gazer live? They live in New Zealand, my friend. They live in the Shire. Down in New Zealand, my friend. They are Kiwis. But yeah, they're fighting for their rights in New Zealand, the rights of plant people everywhere. And you know, and that's the weird thing that for me is like, you know, New Zealand is a Commonwealth country, okay? In a lot of ways, they're very similar to Canada. And oh, I just had that email come up from Hooli there, and I will email back after the show, and we will chat, my friend, 100%. Warlord. Did you hear about the Canadian election? Well, even though I don't really go, well, sometimes I do. Let's not lie to ourselves. Sometimes I go a little political on the show, and I try not to because we as cannabis people, cannabis lovers, there's people from all sides of political spectrums, different ideologies, beliefs, and as I've always advocated in the Potsquatch Growers Army, it is a safe place for everybody as long as everybody treats each other with respect and love of the weed titty, and they don't shit on each other. Don't be a fucking dick fuck or an asshat, you know. Everybody's welcome. And Warlord, I 100% agree with you on that, though. I am also, I classically typically vote New Democrat in Canada, but Yagmeet Singh has been a yes man. And for Canada right now to take on what's going down in the States, Mr. Trump coming at us, I won't tell you my opinions on that, but yeah, Carney's the only hope in hell. My family knows Polyev personally. He's a spiny, little weaselly, little moronic idiot. Like, I mean, he's just a dick. And the fact is he no more wants what's best for my people, our people in Canada, than I have 2 nuts after cancer. No, I have 1. The fact of the matter is we gotta. It's a strategic vote for this election in Canada. And there's only really one horse in the race right now that is the right choice for us to move forward with in the battle for our lives, both within the country and exterior, with the world kind of going to shit right now. So, and that's Carney. So I agree with you, buddy. Yeah, Warlord, I mean, I often make a joke about Polyev, other than the fact that I know him. But Polyev, in my mind, he's just got a face you want to smack. You just want to smack him. He opens his mouth and it gets worse. He's just this weaselly little whiny little boy, just sitting there, career politician. It's like, yeah, I hated Justin Trudeau too, yeah. But guess what? This is not Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party. This is Carney's Liberal Party. And, that's where I'm throwing my vote. But again, if this were a political show, I'd tell you all the reasons why you should vote that way. But it's not. It's a weed titty show. So I'm just sharing that. But I agree with you, Warlord, 100%. But yeah, let's get back to weed, everybody. I apologize. I apologize, everybody. I care a lot about my country. My country's facing a lot of crazy shit right now. We're swinging our dicks at China. We're swinging our dicks at India. We're swinging our dicks at Russia. And now our fucking neighbor, our cousin, we got to stand up to them too. And we're a small country, but we being in 10th, honest, true fucking world of weed titty people. I'm going to show this one just for everyone to read. So, Sensamila Savage says, you vote NDP and you want, well, first of all, you spelled his name wrong. You spelled Kearney to win Potsquatch BC weed guy. You're a piece of shit. Woke, elitist, tranny supporting piece of shit, Kearney. I hate you now. Maybe you should go back to Ontario and protest with the pro-Palestinian libtard. Well, first of all, I'm not even going to go into some of those things. That's just silly. Like, you're making a lot of assumptions here. Why am I going to vote for Kearney? Well, simply put, the man has 2 PhDs, one of which is in global economics. The man guided Canada's economy in the 2008 collapse, and we survived and did pretty good considering. Simply put, went over after Brexit happened, and helped the UK to actually survive. The man, on his 3rd day as a fill-in prime minister while we waited for election, went over and started talking to the Netherlands, he talked to the UK, and he talked to Germany, and he talked to Sweden and a few other countries in the EU. They quietly went up and bought a crap ton of available bonds in the American bond market, liquefying 10% on the day that, well, miraculously, 6 hours after they did that, all of a sudden Trump backs off on the fucking tariffs on the world minus China. That was all this guy. I don't have to like liberals, don't have to like the NDP. I, in this election right now, am voting with my brain. I'm calculating. It's a game of risk and it's a game of strategy. And, well, Sensamila Savage, make me, baby. I'm BC. I'm here. I'm not going to Ontario. And you don't have to like my political ideologies. You don't have to like what I think. I'd like to see you to try to debate me in an open debate, because I'm pretty good at that. I will also share, I will even respect and fight for your right to vote the way you want to and the way you believe. The one thing I will call you out on, though, is guess what? The second you go to hate, the second you go to insulting, insinuating assumptions that you literally have no information to ascertain any of what you've said towards me, but you can say what you want towards me, it's not going to bother me at all, buttercup. But the fact of the matter is, grow the fuck up. Rein in your incel testosterone. Learn to treat people with human decency and dignity. We can have differences of opinion and still get along, Cupcake. It's gonna be okay. I'll even hold your hand. It's gonna be okay. Anyway, everybody, that was pretty entertaining, though. That was a fun, enjoyable thing there. Okay, so here we go. So I'm Brookfield Asset Management is tied to Weave Century initiatives, all kinds of big money agendas, you fucking moron. First of all, Big money, right? Big money agendas. I mean, one, again, you're making generic, bold statements here. Tell me something specific. Tell me something specific, okay? And we can analyze that. But the fact of the matter is big money doesn't go away, okay? Big money never goes away, okay? We got to play because we can't kill them overnight, okay? And the fact of the matter is, buddy, Cupcake, we're going into an economic crisis. The world's about to get fucked, okay? We got to make some plans. We got to do certain initiatives, certain things, man, okay? So, simply put, you can have the thoughts you want, and I will encourage you to always be passionate in sharing them. But learn to respect people. Your message might be heard a little bit better. Rather than attacking and shitting all over people when you actually don't know anything about what they think or know. And guess what? Just because you're in your 60s don't mean shit. I've met a lot of older morons. Age doesn't necessarily mean shit, okay? But anyway, wish you well. Enjoy your vote tomorrow. And good luck, my friend. Yeah, no, it did. But we can move on from there. We can move on. It's all good. He's from Alberta, everybody. He shared in one of his comments. So I'm not surprised that he's getting so butthurt. Alberta is the separatist province in Canada. They think they'll be better off without us. And they've basically betrayed many people in Alberta anyway, have betrayed standing up. Hell, for the French are even jumping on board right now to be Canadian and support the dream team here. And the fact of the matter is, it's not about the Liberal Party. It's about a strategic vote, you fucking moron. Dude, buddy, you can vote for whoever you want, and I will support that, okay? But this is a strategic vote. You think Poilievre's going to protect you? That man is an idiot. But let us stop this now. And so, Sansamilla Savage, here's an invitation to actually participate in the show and talk about cannabis, okay? If you've been growing weed your whole life, you share the same love of the plant that me and everyone that's here typically is going to share, okay? Let's talk about that. So, I have a question for you, Sansamilla Savage. In your times over the last many, many moons, between BC and Alberta and growing marijuana in both places. One, two very different climates. So are you an outdoor grower or an indoor grower? What is your preference, growing in the wet, moldy climate of BC or the drier but quite nice hot summers of Alberta? And if you're not an outdoor grower, that question means nothing. So I will just say, what strains do you like to grow? What's your happy place? Actually, the proper way to say it is you can't fix stupid. But you can think what you want, Sansamilla Savage. Okay, good. We've got some weed things here. 1978 Afghan Thai seeds. Okay, so an Afghan Thai cross from a club they used to live on Bonus Road, if you know anything about Alberta or clubs. I'm aware of the clubs and I'm aware of Alberta. More of a BC strain guy myself, but dude, an Afghan, 1978 Afghan. Now, are we talking a broadleaf, short, squat, proper fucking Afghani indica crossed with a super satty, spicy Thai variety that typically would have been used to actually do in the original Thai sticks, where we don't actually tie the bud down with red thread and spray it with opium, but actually at the beginning of the second week of flower, split the stalk down, wrap it around so the actual flower grows out that way under control? Because if that sounds interesting. No, I feel you, Sansamilla Savage. You know, you got to have fun somehow, right? Like when I was a kid back in the day, you know, I couldn't afford grow equipment when I was first experimenting and wanted to first, you know, start fucking around with shit. So what did you do? You climbed lampposts. You took the bulbs out. Back in the day when they were small HPSs or metal halides, you steal the ballast and you start doing it. Is it technically theft? Well, yeah, but I was getting some tax dollars back, baby. And, you know, I feel you. No, it's all about resourcefulness. And that's the thing I'll say about cannabis people in general and growers in general. We, as a group, regardless of our political, sociological, or religious identifications, have to be some of the most resourceful, albeit sometimes too stoned and kind of lazy. But, you know, that's normally when we're burnt out or really stoned. But we have to be the most resourceful, creative people out there. I genuinely believe that. Some of the coolest shit I've ever seen invented or come up with came from people in terms of cannabis. Joe Burns, the original Thai stick, yes, was not bud that had been tied to a stick and sprayed down with opium, even though that's commonly what is thought of it, because that's what, when the Thai exporters, we'll call them, realized that, you know, the American market loved this shit, blah, 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 we can sell it. So that's where it became that. But typically there was a technique where you would split the actual fiber down 1 to 4 strands off the main stalk, and you'd actually wrap it around your bud sites as they started to form. And it would grow out that way. It was very tricky to do, but that was the original tie stick. And part of why that was done is because as a sat dynamic, it was fairly airy, you know, and the buds never had like huge density. So like a little bit of weight took up a lot of volume. But if you can grow it in such a way where it's tied down and you kind of still allow it to breathe the way you wrap it, and then it comes out that way, it turns into more of a dense product. And that's the way we went about it back in the hood days. I mean, I didn't, I wasn't there. But yeah, history is fun. Sensimilla Savage, I understand of the group you're associating with. That's nice. Congratulations. I mean, good job. Did the Hells Angels play a very large part in the early days of cannabis, both in Alberta and BC? 100% they did. There's still large, huge HA-run cultivation centers that are out this way that I'm aware of. Good job. Power to you. But if you're trying to share that, making me nervous or intimidate me or try to be a dick on the show, I don't care about that. Okay? I'm being respectful to you, and I'm inviting you into a normal conversation about weed. Okay? You don't need to beat your chest or this or that. Okay? Because that's not what this community is about. The community is about weed and everybody coming together. So, respect to your history, respect to your experience, respect to the work that you and yours have done, respect to the work in that many others and many other groups who've been around just as long as you have done. We're all part of the same whole, the same community. The sooner we realize that, the better when it comes to the cannabis community. You know, like for many years, I've watched this pride-driven, prick-swinging, prick-waving competition part. And there's nothing wrong with a little good competition occasionally. Like, don't get me wrong. I love having to grow off with some of my best grower friends, and that is great. But at the end of the day, we within the weed community, even if legalization has happened, or as I call it, Prohibition 2.0 in Canada, that made it legal for the rich, not for the actual farmer or cannabis person to participate in the industry that they loved and voted for, okay? The fact of the matter is, we are on the same team. There's so many people out there. There's big corporate. There's the government. There's all these people that are trying to fuck with us, fuck with our rights, and fuck with our industry and our community, man. We gotta come together. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I am not speaking down to the information or things that you know. My only issue is your tone and the way you're carrying yourself. I'm just saying it's okay. Welcome. Be part of the group. Be part of the conversation. Nobody here is a threat to you. Nobody here is going to be a dick to you. We treat each other with respect at the Potsquatch Growers. We respect everybody's histories and everybody's experience, new, old. Doesn't matter whether you were growing with the club or growing by yourself. Everybody's welcome, as long as we treat each other with respect, my friend. I mean, Sensibility Savage, I mean, in terms of the weed community, typically, I don't allow politics get into the show, but someone brought up some stuff, and I'll go there briefly. And he didn't help that, because I'm also a passionate man who's going to start speaking back. But I'm pretty good at keeping myself in check and not running my mouth too hard at people, because, I try to create an inclusive space for everybody. But you're not wrong. It's like a bar, right? Think about it like the weed community, like a bar. There's certain things we probably shouldn't talk about. 1, politics. 2, religion. 3, there's a third one. I can't remember what the third one is. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it happens sometimes. But it's how we carry ourselves. Because the fact is, it is possible to have discord, of having differences of opinion within the weed cannabis community and nobody getting butthurt, right? We can get passionate. We can speak passionately to each other about it. We can even have really intense conversations about it. I think that should be allowed, right? But it's how we carry ourselves. And it's how we got to be better and bigger than that. Because guess what? If we were all the fucking same, we wouldn't be any interesting. It'd be all boring. We'd all be growing the same stream, the same techniques. Nothing would have ever been developed over the decades. You know, if everyone thought the same way, society would be boring. Movies would be boring. Books would be boring. Art would be boring. Music would be boring. Sex would be boring. Well, sex is sometimes boring. Depends on who you're with and what you're into. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, you know, there's room for everybody in my humble 2 cents. No trouble, my friend Count Dankula. It's all good. We just having discussions. It's all good. Right now, there is a federal election happening tomorrow, and there's a lot of people who are very charged about this. And rightly so. It's probably arguably the most important election in our history, maybe ever, or certainly in a hell of a long time. But there's some stark differences of opinion on how the Canadian people should move forward. And that's just a thing in general in Canada. We'll leave it at that. But everyone's good. Everything's fine. Yeah, don't talk about people's family. Well, again, I'd say out of general respect, that's a good one. Unless you're really pissed and you want to piss them off, then go there. Shit. I'm sorry that your sister passed away, Mudswat. What was her name, Mudswat? Count Dankula. Got any cheese? Well, the strain I'm growing right now is that K-Town Kush by Cheese that was created by the Gassers, Electric Puhan Genetics out of New Zealand. I've crossed that over with an Alien Rift. So there's a little bit of cheesiness in there. The one thing I'll say about this strain that's actually quite interesting to me is structurally it's very indica-y in terms of its physical basic structure. It's not a broadleaf indica, but it's sort of a thin leaf style indica, which is in existence within that. But she's got this super fucking skunky funkiness to her. She's smelling dank though in a lot of ways, and I've been enjoying it, man. I tell you. What's up, Panda the Torture Clown? Oh man, that's the name right there, baby. All right, welcome to the show, my friend. And I am truly sorry though, Mudswat. And her name was Aura, like aura, I have an aura. Hello, Aura, wherever you may be. We are here with your brother. He is our friend and part of our community. Say hello, and we hope you are well. Much love and cheers back to you, Panda the Torture Clown. Dude, you know, Pilsner ain't bad. I like old style Pilsner. Got a little bit more flavor than a lager. Gets the job done. Hell yeah, Mudswat. Oh, I'm very sorry that she passed away, man. Count Dankula. Ha 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 ha. Steve Urkel would love your description, Sir Squatch. That's true. That man did love some cheese. Sensimilla Savage. I'm an old style Pilsner man. I like the old style Pilsner. It's a beer I go to. And sadly, at most of the bars in Vancouver, you know, it's all craft beer typically. And so there's some decent Pilsners from some of the local breweries. But anytime I go to a place and they got an old style Pilsner on tap, I get pretty excited about that. I get pretty excited. I go, fuck yes. A beer that I actually drink in my house I can have here. It's a good time. Dude, I do remember Extra Old Stock. I enjoyed Extra Old Stock when I need a little malt liquor in my system. I liked O'Keefe's because, you know what? There was fun little things in the caps, man, you know? Excuse me. Oh, dude, Clamato in your beer is a good choice. I mean, these days, I won't lie to you. I do that occasionally, especially if I'm hungover for sure. But like, I like a mimosa in the morning, pour a couple Pilsners into a big old, cold fucking giant Stein glass, a little bit of OG for that vitamin C, light up a joint, fucking breakfast at Champions. Well, then I usually will eat some dead animals and a bunch of eggs. So I guess aborted chicken fetuses. You gotta have fun. Get your protein in there. I'm not quite that old, Sansamilla Savage. I'm aware of what you're referencing, but I'm not quite that old. So I'm aware of it, but I didn't live through it, my friend. Sorry, I'm just reading Count Dankula's here. I'm a huge fan of Mickey's malt liquor. Ain't nothing like it, but I also drink Everclear in ways no one should. Well, hey, I love your honesty, Count Dankula. I love your honesty. I'm not an Everclear man. I mean, if I'm gonna go proper moonshine shit, I got a couple of friends who make some local moonshine that's pretty good. My boys well, they've moved away now, but they used to make this thing called grassoline. They made a moonshine out of cannabis, so it was filled with active cannabinoids, and it was basically pure liquor. I first met that shit when I bought a brand new generator, and I could not for the life of me get this motherfucker to kick. And my buddy showed up, and he goes, "Hey man, I got just the thing for you." And he pulls out a giant jar, and I go, "Well, what the hell is that?" He goes, "Well, I call it grassoline. Let's go outside your generator." We dumped a bunch of that in the fuel tank and shook the crap out of the generator. And he's like, "Now, one for each of the doctors." And we hit it. And I was like, "Damn, that shit like evaporating on my tongue." And it fired right up. And it has worked ever since. And, and he was like, "Man, this is so purified. I could ride my Harley on it." I was like, "Dude, that's pretty insane. That also sounds like a lot of work on the still, man." It was pretty good, though. So I love that shit. I don't have a plug for that anymore. But that was a good time back in the day. But I do like a good fucking Newfie Screech, proper moonshine too. Proper moonshine put into an old whiskey or rum barrel is a good time. Hey, Joe Burns, I like homemade wines as well. Caden Crooks at District Records, he makes a lot of things for me sometimes. He makes me whiskeys, different things. Probably the first thing he ever made for me booze-wise back in the day was he made me some hood wine, which is, I guess, according to him, how they did it in the Bronx. So basically, it's like Welch's grape juice with yeast, and then it made booze. It was a good time. I could tell you some stories, Sentimental Savage, about some Newfoundland Screech, man, I tell you. Oh, 100%, bud. I'm a half Newf blood, and I remember getting screeched in back in the day. For those of you watching at home, getting screeched in is, well, it's a few different ways of doing it, really. But the way they made me do it is first I had to run through a drift of snow, my bare feet, my skivvies. Then I had to pound a half Mickey of screech. Then I had to strap on skates and skate across a frozen pond. Then I had to pound screech again, then kiss the cod. I don't know if you've ever seen a codfish in its mouth, but my God, there's a lot of teeth. So you kiss the cod, and then you're in. They're a little extra mean to you when you're half Newf. So, they're like, "Oh, half blood. Fuck it. I'll drink all of Newfoundland." I didn't lose those in my intermix to the rest of me, you know what I'm saying? Luckily, though, the parts of me that got mixed in were actually all the same background genetics that made Newfoundland, just from different family lines. It didn't come from fucking Newfoundland, All right. Dude, I remember you sharing that, Mud Swat. That's a lot of beer and tequila a day, man. I am glad that for you and for your health, you got healthy and you got clean, man. I'm proud of you, man. Smoky Soldier says, "Anyone run Lempire or Masonic? I got some honey banana Tallyman Starburst from Maze and lemon OG and GMO from Lempire." Dude, Smoky Soldier, I mean, to be fair, I think most of those genetics are far too new for me to really have a bunch of awareness of them, to be honest. But it sounds fancy. I mean, I'd be curious to go into it. I mean, I'm skeptical of a lot of these newer genetics these days. I mean, I find everything's been, back crossed, inbred improperly, and feminized to the point of death. Where, yeah, we get high numbers and we get high crystallization rates, a nice bag appeal, but my God, you farted on it wrong and it harms now. But that sounds interesting. Now, Smoky Soldier, here's my question to you. Out of all of those things, I mean, if anyone has run any of those, feel free to, chime in on this conversation. But which one is your favorite, and what is the actual lineage background, if you know or are aware of it? Hell yeah, Mud Swat, I'm proud of you. Well, dude, you know what? If you're gonna keep on gold hunting, bro, you're gonna have to fucking get those steps up. You got to get out there and find that shit with the metal detector, buddy. Smoky Soldier says, "Yeah, def newer stuff. I ran Masonic, not Lempire before. Always winning hash competition." Fuck yeah, bud. Sounds good. Count Dankula says, "The best shit I ever seen was probably around 2002 to 2003. I would say, I probably extend that window for me. I would say sort of, yeah, 2000, 2001. I would go as late as 2008, 2009. I think that was like the golden era of, there was a lot of growers being profitable. The market was still there in the gray market of Canada. Everybody's making money, and a growers like if you were growing fire, you could get some decent money for it. Nobody was hurting nobody. It was just fucking being farmers and growing weed titties and making money and taking care of your family, you know? And like that was a golden age of making a shitload of weed back then. And I will say that there's still some really good growers out there, you know. 50 to 60% of the smaller gray zone growers in Canada closed up shop. They had to, because I mean the market's really fallen out here, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But there's still, you know, every once in a while, like I mean, I got many friends in the industry, and whenever they find something really really nice, they'll let me know, and I'm like, okay, I'll take a little bit of that. Like for example, that MKU that I picked up was a close friend. We've been working in the industry together for, fuck, I'm getting old now. Sorry, I'm doing math. At least 20 years now. Shit, we've been knowing each other a lot longer than I thought. But, you know, whenever he finds something nice, he'd call me up. He'd be like, man, I know you're not always a huge fan of MKU, but you know when a dang MKU, man, I found some. I just acquired it. Want me to put some aside for you? I was like, yes, put some aside for me because I need it for me, but I also need it for my fucking Newfie brother. Well, technically he's a Labradorian, which is part of Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland, Labrador is the name of the province. But his wife just died, and I was like, well, I'll take some for him and some for me, and I'll send him a care package out to help the emotional healing of your wife dying 3 years into your marriage. Or 4. 3 or 4 years. Shout out to the Quiet Witch. I hope you're enjoying yourself out there in the universe. Oh, yeah. And by the way, I'm a hash maker too. Earlier on, when someone was like, make a video on making hash, and I'd love to. I've done it multiple times, but every time we do that, YouTube gets mad at me. And it's like, I've made videos that in my mind should be more controversial to YouTube. But then like the second I show you how to use a bubble bag, or the second I show you about Frenchy cannoli style anything, I get in trouble for some weird, stupid reason. And it's like, but there's so many other videos on YouTube about it. I'm like, how am I like getting singled out just on a hash video? It's just weird. Maybe it's like, oh, Potsquatch is showing him how to make something again. Well, I've showed him how to make a lot of things, YouTube, but you never got mad about that. What the fuck? YouTube gets really mad about hash videos. And I don't get why. You know, like you got people blasting shatter all the time, making rosin. Actually, they got mad at my rosin videos too. But I still have 1 or 2 of them up that haven't been reported. So like the rosin videos on YouTube have been slightly luckier than the hash videos. Every hash video got in trouble. All my hash videos got me in shit. Oh shit, man. Mudswat says, so many cannabis people are getting a hard time from YouTube, and we should stand up to it and fight them 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, though, Mudswat, like, I at first spoke the same way that you did. You know, there was a time years ago where I toyed with the idea of starting an alternative platform, and then there was ReeferTube, and that just sucked. It never did anything. You know, and there were so many things that, like, but, you know, a true warrior picks their battles, right? Like, and like, you know what? Until YouTube decides to make cannabis an inclusive space, I say we just keep doing us. Like, it's a waste of energy to try to demand something out of them. They're never going to give it to us until they're ready. But here's the hypocritical nature of YouTube, everybody. And this is the thing that I find absolutely hysterical. So 1, I'm a Canadian. 2, I have medical cannabis license for the better part of 20 years, if not, yeah, better part of 20 years. Okay, so, and then I was growing for years before that illegally. But it's legal in my country now. I'm a legal medical grower. Nothing I'm doing is against the law in my country. I'm not encouraging people to harm themselves. I'm not encouraging people to do anything harmful. Cannabis is probably one of the most innocuous plants out there. Unless you have a precondition to mental health issues like severe schizophrenia in the family. And then still, you could still have that and have cannabis do nothing to you negatively. But it could do something. I mean, you got to be mindful of these things and be self-aware. That's very important. Self-awareness is always important when it comes to medicine. But it's like, you know, like, oh shit, I derailed my own brain with thinking too much at once. Let me think what I was saying. Weed titties, YouTube, fighting the fight, this, that. Right, legal. Oh, I'm back. Okay, so, and yet while I get the fucking book thrown at me. I get kicked out of the monetization program every time, which I resisted joining in the first place. So who gives a shit? But I mean, like, um, you know, and then I watch other videos on YouTube, and there's cannabis companies advertising on YouTube. There's illegal tobacco companies that are native res smokes being advertised on YouTube, and there's no issues. And like these companies are actually breaking the law with what they're doing with this. At least the cigarette companies are. Legal weed ads are legal weed ads, I guess. But it's like, but since I'm a medical legal grower, and I don't have millions of dollars behind me in my company, that I'm not allowed to at least make a video about something or this or that without being shadow banned or blocked or this or that or kicked out of the monetization program, or I get in trouble if I talk about two very reliable, safe seed banks for people to acquire things from when most of the world is going some form of legal. Fuck off. Come on, YouTube. Give your head a shake. There's a lot more important shit to go deal with on YouTube that's probably negative than me. But, lifetime goals, I guess. I guess they find us that threatening. I mean, I think we should wear that with a badge of honor, That's a badge of honor right there. We scare the establishment and big corporate conglomerates. Dude, Jansen, Dennis, though, I do. Like, because I have my soda stream now, right? So I use the soda stream for my carbonated water now. And that is a very true trick. I love it. Works via root agitation is typically how it works in my main theory on it. Young me was like, oh, yeah. But then I, as I, kept doing the technique and I was getting all of these, sorry, 1 second here. I'm going to adjust the camera. There we go. Positive results from it. Forgive the chaos of my kitchen. I'm very much a dude who lives by himself. But, it worked. And I was like, oh, well, maybe they're absorbing the carbon dioxide through the roots. Well, they can't do that, it turns out. So I learned that. I was like, okay, so it's obviously still working, though, right? We're still getting this increase in our trikes, our resins. We're getting an increase in yield by about 10 to 15%. Like, all of these things are happening. So I was like, and I'm like, okay, so how is it working? So root agitation really is kind of how I've been thinking, like micro agitation techniques where we're actually like, pricking the plant or doing kind of like medium stress training, right? Bending or snapping or doing small, slight damage to our cannabis plant in order to trigger its production on things, right? Okay. That I believe is how it's working. But yeah, I used to look really weird, especially when I had, fairly large grows, and I'd start going to all these Safeways and just clearing out all the low sodium club soda. And I'd walk out just carrying like fucking 25 bottles in each hand. People would look at you awfully strange. And they'd be like, oh, you got a potting tonight? And I'd look at them and I said, no, this is for my weed plants, asshole. Oh, dude, Sensible Salvage, 100%. But you know what? ProMix HP is my happy place. I love ProMix HP. I mean, I love ProMix products in general, but ProMix HP is my happy place. ProMix HP with their microsots, and the inoculant I've been using from Extreme Gardening. I got a package of it somewhere. It's from Extreme Gardening. We'll go with that for now. That's my favorite add-in in there, and that's pretty much all I'll do when I'm mixing it up. ProMix HP, I'm going to add in some more microsots and all. Go my Extreme Gardening inoculation. It's a good time. It's a good fucking time. Hey, what's up, Alpha Mace? Good to see you, Santa. How you been doing, buddy? Hell yeah, Smoky Soja, send me that shit, and then I'll share that out for people. Sorry, everybody, I'm just reading. Joe Burns, I did not get the notice on YouTube. I stumbled on the live stream. Dude, Joe, that has been so commonplace for our channel for the last, honestly, 6 or 7 years. Like, I mean, the first 4 years on YouTube, things were pretty good, Didn't get no hate from YouTube. Didn't get shadow banned. Hell, in the early days when we were really first growing,
we would have 160 to 200 people in our live streams. And the live streams were no different than this, except I was probably more drunk because I drank a lot in these shows back in the day. But, you know, that is the way of the shadow band, man. But welcome. Welcome, Joe. And double check, though, because sometimes I've had people from the channel also tell me that are, like, if you go into the channel and then you click the fucking thing and it'll turn off what level of notifications you get. So always check that because they like to fuck with you that way, too. Sensibility Savage is like, I'm in a small town of about 400 people, and there's 10 pot stores within 2 miles. Well, I think it's safe to say, Sensibility Savage, that everyone in your community hates cannabis. Hell yeah, you know, power to the people, man. And the fact is, though, I think it's dope that few of Canadians love weed titties so much that they can keep 10 stores going. Hey, power to you. Hey, that sounds like a good mix. I mean, I will say, Sensibility Savage, that sounds a little hot too. So one should be careful with that soil mix. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're doing good, Alvin. I'm glad you're doing good. Everybody, don't freak out. By the way, it's called Diuretics Are Real, and I don't want to end the show. And so this, back in the day, we used to do it a lot. It's called a live stream. During a live stream, I'm gonna pee, and I'm gonna keep talking to you. Sorry, it's just science. And also, aging as a man, you pee more. Once you break the seal, oh shit, you're fucked. I'm thinking though too, like a way for us to make a hash video that doesn't get us like on trouble on YouTube. Like I could make videos that we don't release formally on YouTube, and it's like, as I'm also an actor and a filmmaker, so I've got some really good video compression software these days. So I can make the videos fairly small file sizes while still having a fairly decent level of actual clarity and audio and all that. So we could maybe make like a catalog. What's that thing? They keep on banning books in America because they're fucking morons. Oh no, scary books, scary ideas. Just like the Nazis did. But we could make a list of banned videos. Videos that would be banned on YouTube if we released them. And like things like, you know, making hash, making rosins, how to build certain things. And then you could just send an email and request it, and I'll just send it to you. Boom. You can watch it at home. It's all good. 1 second here. I got to grab another beer, everybody. Uno momento, por favor. There we go. All right. Let's head back to the couch because it's more comfy than standing. What's up, Mo Manic Mans? Anthony Cordero, good to see you, baby. All right, what's happening? There we go. All right, there we be. All right, give me a second here. Anthony Cordero, no, the one plant. We've just got the one plant going, but she's doing good, man. Yeah, no, Sensibility Savage, with us trying not to go back to the political thing, because again, that's not what any of us are here for. But I can kind of touch on it in terms of the native stores thing. You do know the reason why native stores and native tribe sovereignty and sovereign lands exist where they're allowed to do that are because of the liberals, right? Just saying. Just saying. They love playing that ally card, and that's why they let them do that. I'm not going to disagree with you that the liberals fucked up pot legalization, because they definitely did. But you also got to remember, though, this ain't that liberal party, and it's not about the fact that I don't even like the liberals. I know what we need to equip ourselves to take on fucking moron Trump, man. And that's why I'm voting that way. But I will encourage you to vote the way you want to vote, man. Let the people decide. But native sovereignty and native pot stores, as long as they're on sovereign lands, will never go away. They can be self-regulating. It's their right under Canadian law. So, don't worry about it. And to be fair, like, I make all my own carts and I make all my own things when I want something like that. So I just make my own shit anyway. And to be fair, I don't really buy shit from legal stores. I mean, maybe once in a blue moon when I'm in a pinch, but it's like, I've got plenty of black market or gray market, call it what you will, friends, and we all make different things. And I just need to make a phone call, get what I want. It's more affordable, it's cheaper, and safer than government products. Sir, I'm here for the irradiated weed, and that's sprayed down with banned pesticides in our agricultural system, please. Ah, yes. Let me sell you some cancer. All right. Okay, I'm falling behind. I gotta read some shit. I gotta read people's messages here. Joe, that just makes me sad. Joe said, I'm in a county of over 1 million with towns named after him in a legal state, and we have no legal stores. Is that because of your state level legal law, though? Which is just fucking you? Oh, 100%. Smoky Soja, dude. I'm a dirt grower. I've done it all over the last, 24 years. Aquaponics, hydroponics, aeroponics. I've fucked around with everything. Like, I've done some weird shit of growing weed, man. Like, I've grown in buckets of straight perlite in this weird few different ways with sprayers or just doing drip feed. And I'm like, well, it's cheaper than fucking, a volcanic stone. But I always find myself coming back around to dirt. I like growing in dirt. The best weed, in my opinion, comes from dirt. Dirt weed is the way to go. Weed grown in dirt. That's the good place. That's the good shit there. That one stuff. Starting OnlyFans leaves. It's like OnlyFans, but for weed. Weed porn for the weed grower. That's actually a funny kind of idea. I mean, do I really think it's scalable? Probably not. But I think it's a funny novelty for sure. I think that's a great, fun idea, man. Give me a second here. I'm still reading. Yeah, Smoky Soja. I mean, I'm typically a New Democratic voter. I believe that if I'm paying taxes, I think that money should go to help my fellow Canadians. I believe in socialized medicine. I believe in the right to not die if something happens, And I also believe in if we're a first world country that makes money, we don't have to fucking bankrupt people to help them live. I also disagree with the fact that pharmacology is basically the true glorified drug dealers. They've stood against the cannabis industry the whole goddamn time. They overcharge for medicines that cost nothing to produce that could save lives. So I'm big on, the people's right to live, and I don't mind paying taxes for that. If I'm going to pay taxes, might as well have it do something good, But I'm voting the way I am this time because we got a real big threat. This is threat one. It's called America. Not America, but MAGA right now. We got to take them on. We got to survive this stupidity of this fucking infantile, moronic child who doesn't seem to understand how global economies work. I also don't like bullies. I don't like that fucking bullies. So I'm going to vote my way on this one, and then I'll move forward, and we'll see what happens in the next election, It's all about being strategic. It's a game of risk right now, everybody. But, yeah. Again, we're getting dangerously close to politics, and it's not hard to get me started on that. So let's not go there. Oh, dude, Janssen Dennis, a lot of government facilities are using chemical-based plant growth regulators, 100%. Oddly enough, though, plant growth regulators aren't banned in large facilities, but then, like, a beneficial nematode is banned. You can't use a beneficial nematode in a legal grow, big or small. It's fucked. No, it's okay, Reverend Veritas. Like, dude, I want you to know, Americans at home, Canada doesn't have beef with the American people. We don't have beef with you. We do got beef with Dink and Dum Dum. And, well, the die-hard base of the MAGA stupidity, I guess we got beef with them. But most of you are safe. We just have issues with them. And we won't hold it against you. We both got to get through the next 4 years, so let's just try and do our best. Oh, Janssen Dennis, China's the real threat to the world, everybody. I'm going to let you know. We got to get through right now. This is like level 1. Level 7 is when the shit really hits the fan and World War III may happen. And I'll tell you who we're taking on that one. It's called China and fucking Russia. So we all got to remember that. But back to weed. Well, see, that's the funny thing, Sensible Savage. Both the Liberal Party and Carney actually have taken really staunch stances against China. But we're not going to go there in politics. I'm trying to get back to weed. But quite frankly, though, China is the threat. Like if this were a game, let's say this were like a video game and there's like 7 levels. We're on level 1 right now. Let's say the final boss is China. And boss from the 5th level, which is like Russia's, their little bitch sidekick. And to be fair, a few Middle Eastern countries and a few countries out of Africa. Right now, India's not our friend either. But, we'll see what happens. Hell, between China and India alone, we got billions of motherfuckers coming at us. So, you got to be prepared. Oh, bro, I would totally look at any flow charts of any of that shit, dude. I am happy to take a look at it and have an honest conversation with you about it, dude. I am always I'm that dude, man, 100%. And it sounds like either you're in BC or Alberta. Hell, we can become phone call buddies or video call buddies. We can chat about it all the time. I'd be 100% down. I'm always down to learn and share what I know and see what others know, bro. That's called fucking, human race. Because regardless of who you like, it's us versus them. It's us versus the government. It's us versus the world powers and the 1 or 2%. I'd probably say it's probably like 3% now. But, we are the ants, baby. But, again, like I said to everybody, I'm going to show you a sneak peek. We're going to make the real video tomorrow. But here's that one crazy bushy lady here going in the tent right now. She's doing good. Tomorrow's going to be week 3 there. Oh, fuck you, phone. Focus. We're going to get an up-close and personal, in-depth fucking little video there for everybody tomorrow. This is the K-Town Kush by Cheese by Alien Rift. Tomorrow, she hits 3 weeks of flower. I'm thinking it's going to run 9 or 10 weeks. 9 or 10 weeks. She'll be closer to 10. Honest to God, unless, like I said in the last show, unless she runs really fast in those middle, like weeks 4 to weeks 7, 8, and starts maturing, I foresee this plant having a 10-week window of maturation to where it gets to a place where I'm happy with it. But yeah, she's smelling good. She's building up, and like it's fun because you can start seeing where all the different nodal segments are going to come together. Like there's going to be a donkey dick. That's going to be a donkey dick. That's going to be a donk. That one's going to be a bent donkey dick because we knuckled that one. But like, you see what I'm saying? Like it's all going to come together, baby. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. And the weed titties are going to grow good. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is, like, look at this bitch. She a bushy bitch. Dude, Promix HP, little microzyme, little love. Good genetics, enough light. You can grow a monster in a 2x4 too. To be honest with you, looking at this plant, like I actually genuinely think I might get more off of this than we did on the weird, horizontal squatch lining technique that I called, or that's what I call it. I think I call it, squatch lining. Called it squatch lining. I think we're actually going to get more weed titties on this one. Dude, Sensible Savage, that's just being a pragmatic, smart person. You know what I'm saying, baby? Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying, mate? Well, see, Smoky Soja, a lot of big people in cannabis are jaded. Like, when I first started this channel, and we started actually growing and getting to a certain size and a certain influence across the world, I started receiving a lot of death threats, which was funny for me because, like, I'm a retired underground cage fighter. I was a little thug. I grew up stupid, and like I'm allergic to dying. And I'm gonna go when it's my time to go. And I don't like bullies, and I don't back down. And so I received during this time period of maybe. I'm going to go like the first 6 months lead up to legalization and then almost 2 months into it from like a lot of big companies everywhere and all these people, like a lot of death threats, a lot of threats, people trying to intimidate me and scare me and do this and stop revealing industry secrets
Okay, first of all, fuck you, suck my dick. I'll tell people and teach people the shit I know if I want to. Here's my address. Come get me, cocksucker. So, information is meant to be set free. People have a right to know. And I started this channel for one basic, simple, conceptual idea, which was I was a self-taught grower. I'm the son of 2 fucking Anglican priests. My mom and dad, both Anglican priests. I grew up, when I first got caught for pot, and it was a pretty epic way of getting caught for pot, I had 14 pounds under my bread spread. But, you know, I got a good line, something, so I picked up 20, liquidated 6, kept 14 for myself. Paid for it, free money. And so I was like, well, my parents respect my space. I was like 14. And I was like, my parents respect my room. They won't go in my room. I was a dumbass. So, yeah, like, you know, about 3 hours in, me putting 14 pounds of marijuana under my bedspread. My parents found it. They got a little upset, and I was told that marijuana was the devil. You know, my parents have come a long way. Both my parents own percentages in my company now, but and they've opened their eyes, shall we say? But it's like for me, as a self-taught grower who grew up in a family dynamic, where it took a really long time for people in my family to realize pot isn't this like devil's lettuce thing and the whole reefer madness bullshit. You know, I had to fight for my shit, and it was hard to come across information. Like, I didn't grow up in a grower family. Like, a lot of my, and hey, shout out to Sansamilla and the boys. You know, a lot of my friends growing up that I know over the years, like, they got the joy of growing up in a family that was a cannabis cultivation family. They had family traditions, they had family techniques, they had family things to draw from. I was on my own for like the first 6, 7, 8 years of my career as a kid, figuring it out and I got pretty good. All of a sudden, people started bringing me in to fix shit that were way bigger than me and way more connected than I was. I just kind of figured things out. But then I saw all the misinformation and all the dick swinging and competitions on the internet about shit and this, that. And I'm like, well, fuck, it was hard enough for me to learn before all of this. How's anyone going to learn now? So I started Potsquatch Growers to help people learn. I started Potsquatch Growers to teach people. My way isn't the only way. I teach what I know. The true grower is a forever student. Keep an open mind. There's 1,001 ways or 1,001 highways to the same destination. And that's part of the beauty of developing your techniques and your skills as a grower. And, you know, anyone who tells you there's only one way to do something, one isn't a grower, and they're fucking moron. They're fucking dumbass. They're a fucking Xerox machine. Okay? And that's where we get different types of weed, not just genetics, but different growth styles, different techniques, different approaches. You know what I'm saying? Alvin Mace, that is a K-Town Kush by Cheese by Alien Rift. Available for sale on our store, potsquatchsales.com. The seeds, not the weed, by the way. The seeds. But you can go buy that on our store right now. Yeah, no. Smoky Soja, it's hard when you're working with these super duper old beans. I've got a couple of things in my collection where I've got like 2 to 10 of them, and they're so old. But I've never tried it, but I've heard, you know, tale of these enzymatic activators that help to reinvigorate older genetics to actually take root and throw off. I haven't tried them yet, but I think I got to buy some just to, you know, I'll make a video and I'll tell you whether I fucking think it works or not. But yeah. Oh, shit. Deborah Fletcher's here? I missed her messages. Hey, what's up, Deborah Fletcher? Good to see you, baby. How you doing? Sansamilla Savage, I'm the same way. I got a brain, somehow, despite being punched, shanked, stabbed, bats broken over my head, and hitting the head a lot growing up. So I feel you, buddy. Nothing wrong with having both sides of the fence covered. Dude, yeah, so Sansamilla Savage, so everybody, I'm going to share Sansamilla's thing here. So he goes, my mom busted me when I was 16 filling bottles of weed oil. She saw me with a hypodermic needle, for those who are unsure, and thought it was heroin. So my similar kind of thing of like parents when they bust you and you're young and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So my mom was like, I looked up on the internet. I went to the police's webpage, Joshua
this is like $500,000 worth of marijuana. I'm like, I started laughing. That didn't help. I got slapped in the head. I started laughing. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? 500,000. I wish it was $500,000 worth of marijuana, Mom. In actuality, it was a single A, decent enough run that I managed to acquire 20 pounds of for $4,000. And then I liquidated 6 pounds for $4,000. They thought they were getting a good deal, and I kept 14 for myself. That's just called good business. Then my dad gets up in my face. Well, who do you owe money to for this, son? Well, quite frankly, Father, I don't owe anyone money. I have investors that are expecting a profit share from my liquidation of this. There's a projected profit sharing, but I've negotiated it to where I get 70 and they get 30. My dad years later, admitted, like, I was actually really impressed that that's what you negotiated with these people. But it's like, it's funny though, like, you know, your parents go on the internet and they go, oh, this is $500,000 of marijuana. I'm like, Mom, it's actually $4,000 a single A, and your son's a good hustler. Thanks for kicking a creative young buck trying to make a buck, you know. So I feel you, Sensibility, on that. You know, parents are funny that way. You know, they mean well, they care, they give a shit, right? That's the thing, right? Like, oh shit! 1 second, I'm trying to read here. I feel like I'm falling behind. So let me read everybody's messages, and I'll begin. Then I'll scroll back and comment to things. Give me a second here. Hell yeah, Mud Swat. Planting a plant. I like it. Bear with me here, everybody. It's all just a title and a hat, Sensibil, is it not? Oh, dude, Sensibility Savage, you're not wrong. Back in the hood days, that was 100% true. You know, when I was 19, I've shared, that's been a long time since I've shared this part of my story, but like from the year, you know, the year of being 19, I had a brief dance where I was heavily into doing the coke. And young, stupid me, right? You know, I was growing the dank, that quad shit before we called it quads. Well, maybe quads was a term back then. No, I don't think we were quite there yet. I think we were like, oh, this is crazy trips, is what we would say. But yeah, we were trading it straight up, off shit, right off the boat. I was doing that too. Then I decided to start to try it. Then Potsquatch spent a year doing way too much coke and testing how much fucking drugs his body could handle without dying. I probably should have overdosed like 4 times over most nights. And then I kind of woke up one morning. I'm like, oh, shit. What am I doing? And then I stopped being a cokehead. But, you know, I think, you know, for me, I'm not going to regret on it, you know. I had a year. I went there, saw it was stupid. Sansa Miller said, you know, oh, it's great with sex. I'd say, I mean, yeah, it's great for making you feel sexual. It doesn't make your dick work for fuck all, but, you know, coke dick is real. You think you got whiskey dick, try coke dick. Different story, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm glad I went there. It was a learning experience, you know. Made me, maybe, I don't know if I want to say smarter. Don't know if I want to say wiser. I'd say less stupid, maybe, though. And I realized, you know, this isn't really a great thing. It's not healthy. It's not good for anybody. And, you know, it's just leads to bullshit. Marijuana, magic mushrooms, a bit of beer, and some pussy is a much better way to live, you know? I mean, Mudswat, I guess in terms of alcohol, so everybody, Mudswat says, I call them clean drugs and dirty drugs. Weed and caffeine are clean/clear highs. alcohol, cocaine, heroin, or dirty drugs. I would agree definitely on the cocaine and heroin and all that. I also will admit that alcohol causes a lot of violence and harm for those who abuse it. But I will say, in moderation, I don't mind a bit of alcohol. Evidently, I'm drinking in the show. Um, I guess I'm a little more forgiving to alcohol as long as the person consuming it can respect it, right? I'll put it to you this way. We'll take it to a Newfoundland thing, right? So Newfies are psychopaths in terms of going out in the ocean and fishing and doing stupid shit. Like, I mean, my people are crazy. Beautifully crazy and absolutely wonderful. Katie, I'm getting your text after the show. We'll talk. But the one thing they'll say, though, is like they're willing to go out into a storm that nobody else is. Like, they'll take risks, but they still respect the ocean, right? And booze is very much the ocean. It's okay if you want to have a little bit, as long as you can respect it and keep it in moderation and be honest and real with yourself on it. That is something that I've had to learn very hard over the years, and I've come to terms with. I'm doing pretty good at that now, but it took me a hot minute to figure that out. And by a hot minute, let's be honest, I probably mean about 20 years. But and I come from a long line of idiots who maybe have a borderline, very negative relationship with alcohol. But yeah. What's up, George W. Cush? It's been a hot minute. Good to see you, buddy. Smokey Soja says, yeah, in the state, we call it Cali Sober. I like that. What's up, Homegrow 4201? Good to see you, baby. Mudswat, moderation is relative when it comes to certain people. Like, for example, most newbies that are beer drinkers, like, won't even have a buzz after 7 beers. So you gotta, look into the people though too, right? Like, what would be moderation for one is not necessarily moderation for the other though too. It's not a set in stone thing. It's a swing and scale depending on the situation. I mean, Smoky Soja, you're probably not wrong, but I'm still going to enjoy it myself. I'd probably say my happy place with no hangover, totally fine, would be about 6 to 9, beers. If I go past that, for sure, I'm the same way, Sansabilla. I would say I'm a 6 to 9er or 69er in terms of my beer consumption. But I've also noticed, though, too, that if I actually eat properly, which I do now, and make sure my water consumption is okay, and I make sure I got some electrolytes in my system, I'm also completely fine. Getting off my lazy ass and working out a bit doesn't hurt anything either. Oh, right. Also, too, I'd like to take a moment, everyone, by the way. And this is at Sansamilla Savage. Dude, we started our conversation in the show today quite intensely. We both said our points. We both stuck to our guns. And then I invited you to just participate, be part of the conversation, and let's talk about weed and shit. And you totally did that, dude. And I've actually genuinely, after that, really enjoyed having you in the show. So, bro, fucking dude, word and respect, bud, 100%. Thank you. And, dude, you're welcome anytime, man. I've genuinely enjoyed you being in the show, man. And I just want to say that. Like, this has been good. So thank you for fucking hearing me out. Not in terms of politics. I mean, obviously we still are opposed on that. But, I mean, hearing out my other thoughts on it and giving it a chance. And, dude, I've been having fun with you in the chat. I think everybody else has, too. So thank you for joining us. And thank you for being a true G in my humble 2 cents, buddy. Dude, Sansamilla Savage, 100%, buddy. 100%. I see, that's the thing. The funny thing is like the basic sentiment of everything, you and I agree on 100%. We have a disagreement on who the best pony in the race is, but guess what? We're always going to have differences of opinion. Like, think about it like this, right? I'm a younger buck, right? You're a little bit older than I am, right? And so I started fucking around with LEDs before the tech was there. But then when the tech started getting there, I was a huge advocate, right? And I got a lot of my old biker buddies, and they're all like, no, man, 100% HPS, 100% all the time. And even they are now starting to realize, oh shit, maybe things are a little different, and maybe there's a place for LED in my life. But it's kind of like that debate. But it's like, dude, HPS still cranks, LED still cranks. They both do a good job, right? We just have different preferences and opinions on how to arrive at the station, and that's all we ran into. You know, I think you weren't expecting. I think you maybe were expecting for me to react to some of your statements and kind of attack back and shit. I stood my ground and I shared my piece, but and that's the thing. I'm a big believer that we don't have to agree on everything to get along. We can have honest discord, politics, weed, dessert. Best way to cook a steak or smoke a brisket. Best way to fucking take down a fucking moose and the best way to butcher it. How do we bleed it out? Which parts do we cut down, break down first? How do we age it? You know what I mean? There's a lot of different things we could have differences of opinion on, and they're all valid ideas. So I'm just saying, thank you for being a true human and fucking participating and just, dude, because that's the thing. The power of our community is when we're diverse. The power of our community is when those of us that have different ways of thinking and being, even if we don't agree with each other, can come together and still work together as a team. That's how we fucking save Canada. That's how we save the fucking world. That's how the whole world doesn't blow itself the fuck up. If we can learn and actually do it. Yeah, it takes discipline. Sometimes we all got to bite our tongues. I had to bite my tongue. You had to bite your tongue a little bit. And then we fucking came to terms. And look at us. We're having fucking fun now, bud. And that's a fucking good time. So, hashtag boom. 1 second here, everybody. What's up, Warnord? Also, Warnord, welcome back. Warnord was the one who started the thing that led to Sensible exploding at what I was saying, but that's okay, Warnord. Warnord, you actually led to a very beautiful thing, so it's all good, buddy. No, exactly. Sensible Savage, I think if you and me were out having a beer right now, bud, regardless of our slight difference of opinion on politics, maybe, and who the best pony in the race is, we'd realize we're very similar assholes. That's quite funny. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading now. I feel like I'm falling behind a lot of messages because I keep talking a lot. Yo! What's up, Kev T? How's Alberta treating you, buddy? Good to see you, man. It's been a hot minute. Sorry. I'm just reading, everybody. Fuck, I am behind. Holy shit. Okay, everybody, I gotta... Dude, Einstein's allowed back. I didn't ban him, by the way, either. I hit him for the channel briefly because he was just being a midget moron, but he's back here. I mean, Sensible Savage, I mean, I don't ride bitch, but thank you for the care on that. But, I mean, to be fair, I don't have my bike anymore. Divorce is a bitch, you know what I'm saying? But I got my Cadillac, at least. Well, I bought a new Cadillac, but the next time I got a piece, man, I would take my hog out with you any day. But I got a lot of other shit I got to pay for before I can buy a new toy. Well, and to be fair, half of it's other toys that I want. Mostly grow equipment expansion, buying another house where I can have a larger grow again and shit like that. But eventually, I'll grab that hog. We'll go out for a fucking rip, bud. We'll have a good time. What's up, Muskoka James? Shit, motherfucker. It's been a hot minute. Welcome back. Good to see you, buddy. Dude, Sensible Savage, that is awesome. I think that'd be the one way I would ride, bitch. That sounds hilarious. Drunk stone Potsquatch riding backwards going like, oh my god, I can't see where we're going. Yeah, no, Sensible Savage, I'm a Cadillac man. I'm a Cadillac lover. It's my thing. I've got a 1952 four-door hydromatic Cadillac sitting in a barn. That's my next project. I'm going to put a 541 V8 Big Blanc with turbos on the other side, a little nitrous, fucking redo, rolling cage, fucking disc brakes, everything. It's going to be expensive, but I should be able to get this cocksucker up by about 1900 horsepower when she's done. I'm not building this one to drive to work.
my day-to-day Cadillac is it's I felt weird buying it at first because it's got one of these new supercharged four-banger Cadillac engines, but fuck, she rips, man. I can do 0 to 100 in 5.1 seconds, and I can do a 12-second quarter mile, so it ain't bad. Faster than the cops. And well, I augmented the stereo system, so you'll hear me from 4 blocks away, and it's a good time. Batty the Caddy 2.0. She a 2022 CT4 350 turbo augmented. Augmentation obviously is making reference to me fucking around with it. What's up, Daleski OG? Good to see you, buddy. Mudswat. Nice side, a little half and half. You can look to the left and the right. You can see behind you and in front of you. This is a new vape, by the way. I still smoke a few darts a day, but, trying to reduce that. I've already had cancer once, so. And, yeah, it's all right. I prefer these fucking G32 ones, but this one is actually built out of Alberta, as I'm aware. It's called the Lost Vape, and it's a new product of an Orion bar. I mean, it's all right. Doesn't taste as good as the other one I was doing, but it is what it is. Kenneth Shot says, I can't hit carts, bro. I vape, but bought Bic. I mean, does that mean not Nick? Or not weed, just Nick? So, I mean, I hit the Nick. I mean, it's like I went from smoking almost 2 packs of darts a day to like 4 or 5 darts a day, and then mostly these stupid newfangled Star Trek fuckers. But I mean, and I feel better. I mean, my skin's better, my lungs are better, my ability to work a manual job and be on the tools and do all this shit is better. So I think they're not horrible. They're probably still not good for me, but just a different type of bad, maybe. I do hit the weed vapes a bit here or there. You know what I mean? I find most weed vapes, even if it's like a straight up rosin or something like that, doesn't hit me quite in the same way as flower does. My biggest love though in life is smoking hash. I love hash. I would smoke hash till the day I die, and I could smoke hash all day. Where like flower, there's something different about flower, man. Like there'll come a point where I'm like, okay, I'm just getting weird in my head now. But I can smoke hash till the cows come home. I mean, I do keep getting stoned, so I'm kind of useless maybe in certain ways, except like, let's talk about the metaphysical reality of this or the meaning of this or that, and like, so I get all retrospective in my head about shit, but like, I can smoke hash till the cows come home. But I find that vapes, though, also too, don't fuck me up in the same way. But they're all right. Oh, this one's dead. Still tasted good, though. Smoky Soja, dude, get a hard hit Nick vape, but don't get a rig, get a disposable, rechargeable, because the rigs are gonna fuck up your lungs, give you popcorn lung. Okay, and genuinely try hitting this thing. Start with every time after you have a dart, hit this. Then you can start reducing it. Uh, Also, Smoky Soja. What do you mean solventless hash though? Like, do you mean hash dabs? Because hash by basic nature of production is solventless. I'm confused, bro. Dude, right? Sansamilla Savage though. Like, think about it though, right? Like, we're living in different times, right? I remember the good old days when if you were growing the fucking dank in Canada, you were getting 26 to 3,200 a pound. Oh, that was when being a farmer was beautiful. Hell, even at still getting like 18 to 22 was a beautiful time to be alive as a weed titty farmer. Now you got people expecting quads for a buck 20 a chicken.
The only time you get more than 1,000 to 1,200 is if you grew a true quad and you sell it to Newfoundland clubs. And even still, then they try to haggle you down. See, smoky soja, like for me, any butane blasted product is not hash, right? Like hash, and I'm a purist. I'm like this weird, like new age, old school mindset is the Potsquatch. The only thing that is hash, okay, is an alcohol solvent based derived hash oil. That's a hash oil, but it's not hash, it's a hash oil. Because it's still a full spectrum thing. It is creating the old school way. I'm peeing again. I'm sorry. Diuretics. Busted the seal. But, like, hash is hash. Hash is either going to be a lot blonde pressed darker skin exterior. It's an Afghan gummy. It's a temple bowl. It's a pressed keef brick. I'll still even call that a hash. Okay, but hash is hash. Hash oil is hash oil. Hash oil has to be made with an alcohol-based derivative. If you do a quick flash on it, cook it down, and it's light colored, it's not hash oil. It's cherry oil. If it's really light, it's an early pick, and it's a honey oil. But hash is hash. If that makes sense. Oh, bro, Sensible Savage. I do the same thing for my rosins when I make it. I built my own press out of a retrofitted 10-ton H-frame ball bearing press. But shout out to Cannaplates.com, best Canadian producer of fucking your hash pressing or rosin pressing needs. James Wade, he's my boy. Respect, James. Good to see you. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Here. Anyone needs to buy equipment in Canada, you call James Wade. Right there. Canna Blades. Medicine Hat, Alberta. Canadian made, Canadian owned, Canadian true. It's the way to be, bud. And that's what I used on my fucking H-frame ball bearing press. But, what was I talking about? Rosin, hash, things. Shit. Maybe if I read your messages. Oh, yeah. But, like, for me, I like making, I kind of do like a new age temple ball. That's my favorite way for my personal hash. It's like, it takes me back to like the hashes I remember as a child and as a young person. So like I make bubble hash. I don't use bubble bags in the proper way. I do the mixer bag. I do the top micron bag. And then everything else goes into the bottom bag. And then I pull that out. I dry that out. Sometimes I'll microplane it. Sometimes I'll just like super like roll it out, not plane it, and just let it sit as a thin brick to keep more of those essential oils intact. Because microplaning, you'll lose some of those oils as you get it going. And then I'm gonna fucking go Frenchy cannoli on that. So I'm taking like a new age with an old school, and I go Frenchy cannoli, roll it out, repeat. Usually it takes me 4 to 12 cycles of that to get it to where I really want. Then I'm left with this big old sexy temple ball. We have a short, I think, on our channel called New Age Temple Ball. Search New Age Temple Ball Potsquatch Growers. You'll see what I'm talking about. And like that's my favorite thing to make for my personal consumption these days. And for those that request me to make them things. It's a good time. It just smells right. It tastes right. I'm going to smoke that shit till the cows come home. Oh, dude, Sensible Savage. I remember days where for a true honey oil or a cherry oil, I was getting 60 to 80 bucks here in Van City, man. It was great. I miss it too. I miss it, buddy. Oh, yeah. No, there's lots of fun to be had, Sensibility. Yo, Sensibility Savage. Fire me off an email. Jansen's there. Any of my moderators. Someone type my Potsquatch email. It's potsquatch420@gmail.com. That's POTSQUATCH420@gmail.com. Sensibility Savage. There's a very good chance I'll be able to do that a little later this evening. I would like, if you're into it, let's have a fucking, either a phone call or a video chat, bud. Let's bury the fucking hatchet. Actually, hell, I got a hatchet right here. Let's bury the hatchet, buddy. And let's have a chat. Get to know each other. That'd be a great one. Thank you, Mud Swat. You fucking rock, bud. Fire me off an email. If you're uncomfortable with sending your phone number in the email, that's allowed. I'll send you mine. I'm easygoing. I don't give a fuck. So whatever makes you happy, and then we'll go from there, buddy. What's up, Kenneth Shot? He says vapes. I feel like I missed some of Kenneth's things. I just started watching shit on static dry sift videos, and that shit is insane. Static dry sift. So are you meaning in terms of static dry sift, like a machine that's doing it? Or using basic static kinetic energy with micro screens and agitation with augmenting? So you've got your initial skiff that's hitting your biomass, and then that's dropping in your next, and then you're actually reducing with the microns the actual rate of the agitation to separate your trichromes, because that's a cool thing. Or are you talking about like taking a basic, shake out, then putting it onto a micron screen, and then using a card to shift it out? No, Smoky Soja. I mean, there's a lot of cool machines out there, and this is the number one thing I'm going to share with you, everyone. As a dude who's on the tools, as a dude who's like a builder, and to be fair, like I can build you most things. Um, Most machines out there, unless it's like some like high level thing that's actually identifying, for example, like distillate machines that are identifying through computer programming and sensors the actual different pH nature of different cannabinoids, and actually separating them out due to pH regulation in that way. Like, yeah, I can't build you that. I'm not that smart, but most things like rosin presses, hash making devices, trimmers, these are types of things. Honestly, a lot of times, like with a little bit of research and do how and feeling comfortable fucking around and finding out, you can actually make most things yourself. Just saying. I mean, to be fair, Mud SWAT, I think in the States you're not wrong in terms of vape cartridges or vapes being undiscovered country in America because there's no regulation. But I really genuinely feel that things are different in Canada than they are in the States. So, you know, I feel much safer consuming carts in my country than I probably would down there. So I think in America, you're definitely not wrong, but I think it's a lot safer out here. You know what I'm saying? But used gloves or a book card. So, okay, used gloves is basically finger rub, in my opinion. So that's different. Um, Using a card on a screen, again, that's just, you know, oh shit. My brain's trying to remember what I would call that. Name's not coming to me, but that's just basic, dry skim and screening. But and I don't know if I would call it all the things that you've called, but no, I feel you. To me though, doing a bubble hash run and then pressing that down and making it into a beautiful temple ball is kind of my true happy place, honestly. And that's rock and roll to me. But anyway, but everybody, I do need to realize that we've been doing the show now for almost 2 hours. We're approaching the 2 hour mark, which is longer than any show I've done in a hot minute. So, one, I'm glad to be back, glad to do the show. And, big shout out to old and new who've joined the show. Big shout out to Sensibility, fucking dude. Send me that email, man. Let's have a chat tonight. We'll bury the hatchet, get to know each other. It's all right, man. And fucking much love and respect to you, and much love to respect to all of you. And thank you, everyone, for liking, subscribing, and tuning in and all that bullshit that you're supposed to say on the YouTube and all that crap. Check out PotsquatchSales.com if you want to buy hats, T-shirts, grinds, papers, beard oil, it's CBD, genetics line, and all that crap, too. For those of you, Hooli, if you're still there, I'm going to respond to your email about doing a bean trade and all that. If you ever want to trade beans with Potsquatch, too, I'm always down to trade beans. You got something I find interesting, and, newsflash, I find most things interesting, even if it's not my cup of tea to smoke. But, update video coming out tomorrow. Check my site. I sent to something. My store or Facebook or what do you or a message, Alvin? What do you mean? Message me on Facebook there, Alvin, and what you mean. All right, and so first of all, I'm gonna say what we always say. Remember, the true grower is a forever student. The true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. Love yourselves, love your plants, and remember, the world's a little bit of a dark fuck place right now. Show a little bit of compassion to each other. You never know how much you can do with a simple smile in someone's day to day. Keep it real, keep it sexy, keep it Potsquatch. Word to your mother. Potsquatch the fuck out. See you tomorrow in the video. Peace.